The topic of lost media is all the rage these days. But while everyone and their brother searches for well-known pieces like Saki Sanabashi, Slamfest 99, and old episodes of Doctor Who, there are hundreds, if not thousands of pieces that no one is looking for. These are those pieces. This is lesser-known lost media. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Sorry it's been a minute since I did a lost media video. I did not have time to get one out last week, but with celebrating my birthday as well as starting a new job and just overall husbandly duties, I just did not have time to do a lost media video, but we are making up for it. We've got a great one for you today, so let's get into it. If you're new to the channel, this is volume 43 of lesser known lost media, so you got 42 episodes to catch up on. Lucky you. This is where I look at pieces of lost media that you just don't see covered on YouTube all that much. A lot of content creators cover like the same 10-20 pieces and leave it at that. I cover the rest. If you find yourself enjoying this content, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing if you haven't already, as well as maybe checking the links and considering becoming a channel member or a Patreon, or buying one of my minis off of Mercari or eBay. All that being said, we have 4 pieces of a normal lost media and 1 spicy piece after that. Let's get into it. First off, we have Kumi, Volume 3, a lost, unpublished 3rd volume of manga-styled supernatural comic series, existence unconfirmed, 2009. Now, Kumi was a contemporary fantasy manga-styled comic book series originally published and serialized in English, targeting the English language audience. It was written by Cert Lim and drawn by Hirofumi Sugimoto. The series translator was Harumi Ueno, a bilingual translator who communicated to both over instant messaging and email. Their art director was Stanley Adranus, and they also had assistance from Natuki and Bon Komaiya, I know I said that wrong, in the 2nd volume. It was copyrighted and lettered by Monkey LLC, which is a great LLC company name, and published by Random House Inc. through their Del Rey imprint. The story was about a girl named Kasumi Morioka, who gained the power to turn invisible after falling from a large tree in a forest. Afterwards, she was unconscious for a day and transferred to a prestigious private school named Sarian High School. She has to deal with making new friends, fending off bullies, and controlling her powers. Over time, Kasumi realized that she was not the only student with magical powers and learned the reason why she had this power. So what happened to the 3rd volume? Well, the series only released 2 volumes with almost a year between them. Del Rey published the 1st volume on July 28th of 2008, and the 2nd volume was released on March 24th of 2009. A 3rd volume was suspected to release around November of 2009, given the previous one was released 8 months after the 1st, but it fell through, likely due to low sales. Now, other than pure speculation, the only proof of the existence of the 3rd volume was a sneak preview page at the end of Kumi Volume 2. It depicted Reina Takamoto crying alone in a classroom before being brainwashed by an unknown man with glasses. Since Kodansha and Del Rey collaborated to create Kodansha USA in 2010, it began to publish more Kodansha manga with Del Rey licensed manga. However, none of their original English language manga was retained, including Kumi. Both volumes are unavailable at Random House's website and the Kumi website, making a full publishing of Kumi Volume 3 unlikely. This seems to be a case like many series that are beloved by people in that, you might have loved it, but just not enough people did, and as such, it was just quietly canceled. They're like, we're not going to make a big announcement, we're just going to stop making stuff for it, we're going to stop releasing it. It's like you watch one of your favorite cartoons and you expect the next season to show up, and no, you didn't. It probably left off on a cliffhanger, and you just never get to see what happened. And that unfortunately sounds like what happened here, which is too bad for any fans of the series. Nowadays, I think a English exclusive manga comic would go over really well, but 2009 was just a different time. At number 2, we have Conductor and Tarantula, a lost piano and vocal piece by Igor Stravinsky from 1906. Igor Stravinsky, who was born June 17th of 1882 and died on April 6th of 1971, is a very well-known Russian composer, most notable for his biggest three ballets, The Rite of Spring, The Firebird, and Petrushka. Quite a bit of lost work by Igor Stravinsky exists, but of the lost two pieces known to be by the Russian composer, only one is still lost. The found piece was Funeral Song, or Chant Funèbre. This piece that is still missing, Conductor and Tarantula, was composed in 1906. The reason why this piece ended up being lost is due to the fact that it was never published, resulting in it never seeing the light of day. The most compelling thing about Conductor and Tarantula that sets it apart from, say, the Funeral Song is that we had some information before this piece's discovery. As for Conductor and Tarantula, we really don't have much. The piece doesn't even have a Wikipedia page about it. The only information we have readily available about the piece is that Stravinsky composed it in 1906, that it was unpublished and is now lost, and the text for the score was credited to Kozma Prutkov. So, funnily enough, Kozma Prutkov was a fictional author created by Alexei Tolstoy and his cousins, the three Zemchuznikov brothers, Alexei, Vladimir, and Alexander, during the later part of Tsar Nicholas I's rule over Russia. This means that the piece is credited to a fictional author used as a pen name for satirical works. It could be inferred that the piece was made as a satire of some sort. However, that also begs the question as to which person was under the Kozma Prutkov name and who wrote the text for Conductor and Tarantula. Judging by the letters of the participants, the author of the original text was Alexis Zemchuznikov, with a little help from his brother Alexander. They wrote it in 1851 as part of the cycle of parody poetic fables, published later under the name of Kozma Prutkov. And that's really all we have, is that there was a piece, it was created in 1906, it may have been a satire, and it is credited to Igor Stravinsky. Now, Stravinsky is hugely popular, hugely influential, and it would be amazing to find this piece, but honestly, unless it's somewhere in his personal effects, and whoever has those now might have it, I think this one's long gone. Apparently I'm a glutton for punishment because I picked my first two entries for this one to be a bunch of Japanese and Russian names, which are super hard for me. At number 3, we have Donkey Kong Parking Attendant, the lost build for a cancelled Sega arcade game, existence unconfirmed, date unknown. So, this sounds ridiculous to even say, but Donkey Kong Parking Attendant is a rumored lost arcade game that was talked about by Steven Radosh, the host of the game show Catchphrase, and the executive producer for the Philips CDI Mario and Zelda games. Radosh started his career by producing textbooks for a publisher, before working on a chess simulation game called Sargon. He then beelined and took a job at Atari as a manager of design in New York. Radosh helped on making a lot of Atari games and even was at the release of E.T. and its subsequent collapse. He then left Atari and landed a job at Sega, where he experienced the weirdest case of cross-licensing. So I said earlier we don't even know that this exists. Well, what do we know about it? Well, in an article by Game Informer, Radosh told them that Sega somehow got the license to Donkey Kong, and that he helped on making an arcade game about Donkey Kong as a parking attendant, stating, "Somehow Sega had gotten the rights to Donkey Kong. You were dodging cars that were pulling in and out of the lot, and you had to get X number of cars parked in the spaces." Not a lot of reasons are known on why it wasn't released, but one reason Radosh gave was that Sega, which was at the time owned by Paramount, was sold back to Japan to David Rosen and Hayao Nakayama. While this sounds completely ridiculous, one, that Nintendo would license one of their biggest characters to Sega, and two, that they would choose to then make an arcade game about Donkey Kong being a parking attendant, there are so many weird tie-ins with famous video game characters, putting them in all kinds of weird situations, that this is just crazy enough that it could be true. And I would love to actually see, I don't think it ever actually got made, maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but I would love to see some actual items proving that at the very least it was in the conceptual stages. Maybe we'll get that someday. At number 4, we have Dead Easy, a lost film from the Tales from the Crypt series, 1996 to 1997. In 1996, Universal revealed the first Tales from the Crypt movie in what was intended to be a trilogy. Though there was a trilogy created, the final products weren't the promised movies. Originally, the films were going to be Demon Knight, Dead Easy aka Fat Tuesday, and Body Count. However, the final trilogy was made up of Demon Knight, Bordello of Blood, and Ritual, which wasn't released as a Tales from the Crypt feature for years. Dead Easy was far into production due to Demon Knight having an in-credits teaser promising Dead Easy to be the next film. Sources state that the film was actually completed, however it was shelved because the concept required a primarily black cast. However, it was shot with a primarily white cast because it was thought that an all-black cast would not be commercially viable. Because of this, Dead Easy was shelved by producer Joel Silver due to not wanting to be labeled as racist. There's no script release for either of the Lost Tales movies, but it could be possible that either film was reworked into another film, just as Ritual was released as a standalone film before being released with a Crypt Keeper introduction, and it was later revealed that movies such as From Dusk Till Dawn and The Frighteners were written with the intention of being released as a Tales from the Crypt film. I think it's sad that, these films were made at a time when a black cast was not considered viable for a horror film. This was before the days of Jordan Peele, where we know that a primarily black cast in a horror film is entirely viable. What I personally think is I think they should give this script over to Jordan Peele, have him rework it a little bit, and have him make the Dead Easy that should have been made from the start, and I think that would be really cool. Also, if it was finished, they should release the original, and they should kind of have like a screening, like show them side by side and be like, hey, this is how far we've come as a people. I think that would be really cool. But I'm not familiar with The Ritual. I have seen Demon Knight, I have seen Bordello of Blood, I do love Tales from the Crypt, but I do think it's interesting that there were two movies that just got shelved instead of being made. Okay guys, since I kind of did the ad pitch at the beginning of this video, we're just going to get right into today's final spicy piece of lesser known lost media. Please understand that this one is tagged as NSFW and NSFL due to its discussion of disturbing sexual topics, such as sexual and criminal topics, such as non-consensual sex, sex with family members, and sex with people that are under the age of consent. If these things are a trigger for you, this would be the time to stop the video and go back and watch some of my earlier videos. This is the warning. So yeah, at our final spicy piece today, we have Jen, which is partially found controversial videos from a Canadian YouTuber from the years of 2012 to 2021. Jen, full name Jen Ketchison, was a Canadian YouTuber who rose to infamy due to her disturbing and highly controversial video advocating for pedophilia. Over the span of her time on YouTube, she made vlogs on self-improvement, guilt admission, just normal vlogs, and channel updates. So, standard YouTube stuff. Out of her most egregious videos, one of her earliest videos has her admitting to having her pet rabbits put down because she didn't think they would have as good a life after she got rid of them to put herself first instead of them. Well, that's kind of shitty, so instead of just rehoming her rabbits, she just had them put down. That's kind of a crap thing to do. Another one of her videos had her advocating for incest as long as it is between two consenting adults. That's kind of gross. Another had her say that rape isn't as big a deal as it is made out to be. Wow, she should go join all the people on the incel forum for that one. And her most famous video is her advocating for pedophilia, saying that children are just as sexually curious as adults. Ugh. In early 2017, YouTuber Blair White uploaded a video titled "Pedophile YouTubers Explode." We wish. Pedophile YouTubers Exposed, where Blair calls her out. The video later garnered around 915,000 views, must be nice, it causing an influx of attention and hate flooding towards Jen's channel. Also in early 2017, YouTuber Repzion uploaded a video titled "Jen Fails to Understand Predatory Behavior, Live Response Number 4, in which Repzion responds to Jen. The video later garnered around 161,000 views. Now in mid-2017, YouTuber Ready to Glare uploaded a video titled "Our Response," Is incest a bad thing by Jen responding to Jen's incest video. That video later garnered 99,000 views. So, later on, Jen's pedophilia video got taken down, and she would later delete all of her videos and her other social media accounts, such as YouTube, leaving only her Tumblr remaining. 5 videos were recovered in their entirety via Lost Media Wiki user Grigio Guy, but these were later taken down following a copyright claim by Jen herself. So, I am in no way going to defend these terrible views by this woman, but the fact that when people re-uploaded her videos and all that, and the fact that she took her videos down and that she gave people that re-uploaded them copyright strikes just goes to show that, you know, if you're gonna have terrible views, that's awful, but stand by them. You know, don't, or at the very least, make a public apology, which it does not sound like she did. She just tried to hide what she said and then go with, you know, oh, if it disappears, then it never happened. It's like, look, if you have terrible ideas, you have 2 options. You can stand by them or you can apologize. You can't do neither. You can't sweep them under the rug. Everything is too out there now. You can't hide this stuff anymore. And it sounds like this woman had some pretty gnarly views on things, and but then wouldn't stand by her. You know, if you're gonna take a crap, own your crap. But she would not, and so I think in a way she's already despicable. That makes her more despicable, and that's just my opinion. Clearly, I'm not saying nobody should even try to contact this woman. Nobody should give her any kind of harassment. That is not okay. But I am honestly, I feel disappointed in this person. Not only that they had these terrible views, but that they wouldn't stand by them or actually make a public apology saying, hey, I was wrong. So that's my 2 cents on this one. These are better staying lost. And that's going to be our video today, guys. I do so hope you enjoyed this content. If you did, be sure to leave that like, leave that comment, make a suggestion for Lost Media for a future video, and consider joining the channel, the Patreon, or buying a mini. Until next time, everybody, I'm Mr. Sean, this is Chimera Miniatures, and I sincerely hope that your favorite video game character gets the weirdest, wacky video game you could possibly hope for them to be included in, and that you alpha great day and an even beta tomorrow. Bye-bye.